faithful, man. He's faithful.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, we can kind of just go right into religion then, unless you got some philosophical gems for us last second, some
No, no,
curveballs.
actually, no, I don't. I don't. I don't.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
to kind of lead off with this here, we already said a lot of good stuff, a lot of great
Yeah, I was gonna
messages.
say, yeah, we had a lot of stuff, man.
But I did want to talk about now in the Bible. I'm in the book of Joshua, probably like halfway
Okay.
through. And Joshua is the leader that took up after Moses.
Right.
What happened was they got to the land of the promised land, and then they sent some scouts in there. Joshua was one of those scouts, and they came back and they were talking about how like, oh, we can't, like, it's great, but we can't do that because they'll kill us. They're very powerful. And Joshua was like, no, like, we got big man. Like, just have some faith, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so God kind of saw favor in him versus everyone else that was doubting. And
Yes.
after Moses passed, he passed it on to Joshua, and now Joshua leads them. And I gotta say, this past chapter, I want to say it's like 17 or something,
Okay. Okay. I was gonna ask. Okay.
but it's getting to where they're taking the promised land. They're
Oh yeah.
they're there. Like they're not. It's time.
Yeah. Oh
Time
yeah.
has
Yeah.
come for the Israelites. Like the old generation, the bad
Yeah.
non-believers that always tested God, they're gone. They're dead.
Yeah.
They're buried in the desert. It's time
Oh
for
yeah.
the
It's
new
showtime now. It's
generation
showtime.
to come and take that holy land, right? The original pilgrimage. But it's really cool because there's all these sections about like these are the armies that Moses had conquered. These are the armies that Joshua had conquered, right? And
Yeah.
so it's almost like a Lord of the Rings type story where there's like all
Okay.
these kingdoms, there's all these kings, and there's motives and there's reasons behind them, what they do, how they interact with the Israelites, and how they don't. Um, again, a lot of stuff to remember, a lot of names and stuff, and I'm practicing my Hebrew, like Lizhech and Og and Hashlem and Lebanon and or Lebanon, whatever. But
Uh,
there's a bunch of kings of different nations, and so some of them are hostile towards Israel. So a lot of them, and almost not all, every one of them, has heard of God's work in Egypt
yeah.
and
Yeah.
what the is like the Israelites are this traveling band of giant people. Not there are what's crazy. There's giants. There was
Yeah.
giants in the Bible, but we'll get to that some other time. But this band of traveling people, like in the thousands, and almost like a raiding party, right? You hear like it reminded me of stories of like that they would say about the Vikings when they came and raided England, and
Yeah.
everything of like they're just fearful of these people that God's behind them and what they see the track record. Oh, they did this to that king and they did this to this kingdom and they sacked that town and did all this, right? And so you constantly find that they're scared and they're like, we know of what your God has done in Egypt. We know of what you have done to the other people across the Jordan, and for that reason we come to reason with you or not, right? There's actually two nations that went in trying to disguise themselves as they were from far off lands and they wanted to negotiate, but they saw through that and they were like, why should we not kill you now? And they were like, please, please, we saw what your God did and we just don't want to die. So they let them be like, I guess, workers for them as far as, they took them into the fold.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but I just love this part I'm in, after going through numbers and everything that's like so rigid and like not very
Yeah.
relevant
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
current times and literally just describing priestly garments to like some scale wars and like kingdoms at battle and that's the stuff I love. And it was actually interesting when they went into the town. It wasn't Jerusalem, but the first town that they kind of invade or they're going to, they send a scouting party and this lady, what?
You're talking about Jericho.
Yeah, yeah. This lady harbors these two people, right? And shows them like doesn't give them out to the authorities, and then but she's bargaining with them. She's like, "Look, I know you guys are going to come in here, and I've
Yeah. Yeah.
let you. We've sent the authorities the other way. Just when you guys come and raid, you leave this house alone, right? And get our family here, and we'll make a covenant with you." And so they left a little red scarf or whatever in the window, and they were saved from all the onslaught. Uh, and it's just funny how often and how self-criticizing God and Joshua is of the people of Israel. Even if there's one person that like took spoils that weren't belonging to him or did something dishonorable, um,
Mhm.
they're quick to deal with and punish and remove them from the flock, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And that's prevalent all throughout the Old Testament that I've read, is just immediately
Yeah. Yeah.
displace the evil in your life away from you.
They didn't tolerate it. Yeah. It wasn't
Yeah.
tolerated.